Hey, you! You're Betty, aren't you? Sean's wife? You witch. You have some nerve. How dare you bring him nothing but despair and misery? You senseless woman. Give him back to me right now. A devil like you doesn't deserve him.
What? Who even are you? Did you get the wrong number?
If only he'd never married you. He could have lived a happy and carefree life. But look what happened instead. Divorce him at once. Free him from his shackles. He made a mistake, but it can still be remedied. It's not too late.
Thanks for ignoring me. What's this all of a sudden? You come out of the blue calling me a witch for some reason, and then you're talking about divorce. Why would I do that? Do you know my husband? I don't know who you are, but my first impression is that you're a rather rude person.
Shut up, you witch! I don't care what an evil and black-hearted woman like you thinks of me. Your opinions mean nothing. I'm his first and only love, if you didn't know. I'm sure he's told you about me. Did you forget? Or were you simply not listening? I'm Jada. We dated in high school. We were a loving couple who everyone was jealous of. The talk of the town.
Huh. No, I don't think I've heard that name before. And if you were dating in high school, then that was a long time ago. He might have thought it wasn't worth mentioning. So, what does the so-called former girlfriend want with me? Why do I have to deal with you telling me to get a divorce?
Ugh. I hate how you used so-called to describe me. I am his former girlfriend. Get it right. Anyway, it's obvious. It's because I'm going to be marrying him. In order for us to do that, you gotta go.
Say what?
Yeah. You see, even after I grew up and became an adult, I could never forget about him. I dated a few men, but none of them felt quite right. They weren't him. So I made up my mind to get us back together. But then I heard he went and got married. Unbelievable. What kind of trick did you pull to make him believe he was in love with you? Well, whatever. That doesn't matter anymore. Betty, your entire existence is in my way. So I need you to get a divorce.
Are you delusional?
Of course he won't marry you.
He's already married me. We dated for a long time until we were sure we were right for each other. I didn't pull any tricks, and I think he was genuine. That's why he proposed. Please give up and leave us alone. I'm busy and have some work to be doing.
No way. I think you're the delusional one here. Listen, you don't have to hide it. I know all the details about your miserable married life. Even since your wedding, he's gone through all kinds of things. A traffic accident, a serious injury, his company going bankrupt.
I suppose. They happened over the last 2 years. It's an unfortunate coincidence that such big disasters happen so close together, but there's no helping that. All we can do is pray that things will get better.
See? It's probably all because he married you. Marrying a witch bestows misfortune upon him. My poor Sean. Things won't get better until he gets away from you.
Hold on. You mean to say those were my fault? That's impossible. I had nothing to do with them.
No, it has to be true. That's the only explanation. It's all your fault. You're the reason all those things have happened to him. He was doing just fine before you showed up. That's why I can't let him stay married to a sleazy witch like you. It's for his own good. And by marrying me, he'll be fixing his mistake. He'll be making the choice he should have made all along. Starting today, we'll be rebuilding our broken bonds and starting anew as a couple. We'll have a wedding, and everything will be perfect.
There's a lot to unpack here. Long story short, I won't be divorcing him. I have no reason to. We're in a loving, happy relationship where we support one another. So there's no way you're getting back together. Keep dreaming, far away from us.
Huh? But there is. Sure, you're still married.
But only on paper.
His heart isn't in it.
I'm sure deep down he's actually been waiting for me.
I don't want to keep him waiting for much longer. That's why I want to marry him as soon as possible. In other words, our hearts are one. So saying we're getting back together isn't a delusion. It's a fact.
You sure are doing some mental gymnastics up in there.
Shut up. I know you're his wife and all, but that's about to change real quick. So give up on him. He's mine. We got back together after 10 long years. Finally, we've been reunited. And starting from today, I'm his new wife.
Okay, what the hell are you even saying?
What?
No fair. That's my line. I don't understand a word of what you've been saying. Like, it doesn't make sense. If you really were that serious about him, why did you two ever break up? Why did you wait until now to contact him? And you can't say you've got back together without having his input. This is all just a fantasy. You can't claim to know what's going on inside his head when you haven't talked to him in 10 whole years. At this point, I know him better than you do.
What did you say? We broke up because we graduated and were going to separate universities. And then we both got busy. I thought I could forget about him, but I couldn't. And neither could he. But he married you to fill the void in his chest that I left. We're meant to be. You're distracting from the main issue. And that's how he's wanting to marry me.
Oh my God. No, he doesn't. Would you stop it already? If anything, he seems really happy to have married me. He'd make a coffee for me every morning before he goes to work. And he tells me he loves me every day. He's so much more cheery and full of life. He always goes the extra mile for me. He wouldn't fake all that for 2 whole years.
There's no way that's true, you witch. Deep down, he's miserable. That's just how he's coping. He's too nice to do otherwise. If you really believe he's happy with you, then I'm going to have to show you proof otherwise now, don't I? You'll see. Sean no doubt wants to marry me. And I'll bet he'll say so himself. You can cry all you want then.
Hello, Barbara. It's been a while. I have something I want to ask. Do you have the time? I'll try to make it quick. Oh, Betty. It has been a while. What's the matter? Did something happen? You see, I just got this weird message from someone claiming to be Sean's former girlfriend. Do you happen to know anything about her? I thought he's never dated anyone other than me before. How strange. I might need more information. Well, it seems like they were dating back in high school. Does that ring any bells? And she's wanting to get back together with him. Like, to the point she's already claiming they're married and she's demanding I divorce him? I guess sometimes there are stories of people suddenly getting back together with their high school sweethearts. But what do you even do when someone from 10 years ago suddenly comes at you saying things like that? I think something prompted her to want to contact him. I thought maybe they recently bumped into each other somewhere, but that's not possible since he's overseas. Do you have any other ideas? Is she telling the truth? Oh, you're talking about Jada, aren't you? That Jada. She's such a bright and lively girl. I still remember the day my son introduced me to her. So polite and thoughtful. Don't you think she was a better match for my son? It's a shame they broke up. She would have made him much happier than you ever could. Pardon? Oh, I don't know. I might have told her something like, "My son made a big mistake and married a witch the other day." That could be why she's so determined to get back with him. What a wonderful girl she is. Always looking out for others. So in other words, you're the reason she's trying to get back together with him? I suppose that's what that would mean. We just so happened to run into each other again recently. She was going back home and she happened to be passing by. She is all grown up and, my, she's become a real beauty. If my daughter-in-law was as cute as you, I'm sure my son would be much happier. It sort of slipped out without thinking. It's true, though. From the moment I met you, I always thought you were rather ugly. But if my son thought he loved you, then I'd let it slide. At least, that's how I felt at the time. Huh? And oh, that sweet Jada. She's such a good listener. I only intended to have a small chat with her, but before I knew it, we couldn't stop talking. I wound up blabbing about my son's situation, too. Oopsies! Silly me. I see. So that's why she knew so much for some reason. And why she was calling me a witch. You were behind it. Mm-hmm. And? How about it? Do you feel like divorcing your husband now? Huh? If she contacted you, then you must have talked about all sorts of things together. My son needs a good woman who can support him. And with that in mind, you've understood good and well that you're no match for Jada, haven't you? There's no one who'd love my son as much as she would. Don't tell me you've also been hoping we divorce. Of course! Who wouldn't? Ever since he married you, nothing but bad things have been happening to him. I'm sure you're some kind of witch cursing him. That's why I want to get you away from my son as soon as possible. Sorry to say, but I have no intentions of divorcing him. It's not about whether or not I'm a good match for him, but rather which of us he loves. And it's me he chose. He's happy. So why don't you leave him be instead of butting into his love life? I'm going to be going now. I'll pretend I didn't hear any of this and forget about it. God, you're sure taking your sweet time. Would you hurry up and divorce him already? He's been telling me that he wants to get back together after all. What are you waiting for? It's divorcing time. Chop chop. What? Surprised? That's right. I managed to get a hold of Sean himself. And he was absolutely ecstatic at the idea of reuniting. He said as much after I told him my feelings. And he felt the same way. He agreed that he's anxious to marry me as soon as possible. Say what? My husband wouldn't say something like that. That doesn't sound like him at all. I understand why you wouldn't want to believe it. I'd want to die if I were you. But it's the truth. Oh, and I heard from his mother that he's currently working overseas, isn't he? Then I bet he gets a big fat paycheck. If his job is wealthy enough to have him working overseas, then they also must be a huge company. It sounds like I got my cushy future as a housewife in a bag. To know what's gonna happen to you, though? Yes, you'll be on your own. Excuse me? He has no need for a wife who won't move with him when he's working overseas. Don't you think it's lonely? He's providing for you, and this is how you thank him. He wants to marry someone who he actually loves and will always stay by his side. For his sake, won't you divorce him? I'm telling you, my husband wouldn't say something like that. Have you got the wrong guy? Of course not. And he understood everything I was talking about. If he was some rando, he wouldn't be able to keep up. Hurry up and face reality already, you witch. His life is going down the drain all because he married you. He agreed with me.
If you truly think you care about him, then divorce him at once. I'm sure he'll be much happier when he marries me.
Oh, I am definitely not going to be divorcing him. I don't believe you when you say you've managed to get in contact with him.
Again, I understand why you don't want to believe it, but it doesn't change that it's the truth. Ever since we graduated high school, he's never been able to get me out of his mind. He loves me more than some witch who'll be so selfish as to stay behind in the country and leave him on his own. And we also had such a nice, steamy conversation over WhatsApp.
You did? Really? That's strange. My husband doesn't have a WhatsApp account. Nor does he have a phone.
Huh?
Yep. That's why no matter what you say, I don't believe you. It doesn't make sense. I mean, how did you contact a guy who doesn't have a phone while he's out of the country? It's not like you can meet up with him in secret. And he's never made an account. Tell me, how did you manage to contact him on WhatsApp then?
Wait, hold on a second here. You're telling me he doesn't have a phone? In this day and age? Nor does he have a WhatsApp? You have to be kidding me. That's absurd. How does he even live like that?
Well, think what you want, but it's true. He only carries around a laptop, and he gets by quite fine like that. And he doesn't even have WhatsApp installed on it.
What?
You heard that he was involved in a traffic accident, didn't you? You see, his phone broke in the collision, and he never replaced it. His current workplace provides him with a phone for company business, so that's good enough for him. He can take it easy and talk to me no problem after he returns, too. If that's the case, if having a PC was more than enough, he can go relax in his room and have a nice chat with me there. We do it almost every day, in fact.
No way. That can't be right. I've been in contact with him. For the past week, we've been sending WhatsApp messages to each other every day. Oh, I know. He must have sneakily bought a phone behind your back. That's not unheard of at all. You're his wife, yet you don't even know that much? Pathetic.
No, I don't think so. There's no way he could. See, I gave him the family credit card that's under my name. Aside from necessities, he can use it to buy personal items as well. For example, I can see whatever he's buying overseas immediately. I also oversee his checking account and made it so he can't withdraw from it on his own. He needs me to help him with that.
What? Really?
As such, it's pretty much impossible that he'd buy a new phone behind my back because I'd see it. Neither of us are the type to have cash on hand when we're out and about. So I really am curious. Jada, who exactly were you talking to? Because it wasn't my husband. He has no phone and he doesn't have a WhatsApp. How exactly were you contacting him?
What do you mean? Of course it had to be him. There's no one else it could have been. The name on his account matched up perfectly.
Just to confirm, but you haven't even talked to him over the phone. You've only been talking through text?
That's right. He said he's overseas and the connection's bad over there. But he could at least send me messages even if he couldn't talk.
What convenient excuses. So you can't prove it's actually him then? You know, it's possible that someone's impersonating him. They took his name and sent you messages acting like it was him. Some people are really good at conning others. Maybe it was even a friend of his. That'd explain why they knew so much.
Huh? That can't be right. But his mom was the one who told me about his account.
Is that so? Now, isn't that interesting? Well, I'm gonna go and contact her to see what's up with that then. Talk to you later. It's you, isn't it? You're the one who's been impersonating my husband and leading Jada on with all those messages. You've been caught red-handed, so don't bother trying to hide it. And I'm telling you right off the bat, that's weird as hell. You were flirting with her.
Oh, shut up, you. It's Sean's fault for being so hard to reach.
I had to step in for him and take his place. Otherwise, she was going to get away. What kind of excuse is that? I mean, he was transferred abroad. But because he said he wouldn't buy a new phone, I can't get in contact with him. That sweet and innocent Jada came back around, and yet I had no way of telling him. I had to hold her for him until he came back. Okay, so let me get this straight. Once he got back home, you were going to bring her up, like, divorce your wife and marry this girl instead? Yes, that's right. That's my plan for how I'd get you away from him. You witch. And you expected that to go over well with him? You know, I think you're the real witch here, Miss Barbara. You still don't care about his feelings even one bit. I beg your pardon. Do you have any idea who you're talking to? You're calling his mother a witch! You have some nerve. Do you think you're in any place to be saying that to me? Injured in an accident. His company going bankrupt. And on top of that, you won't have him get a new phone. And you're making it so he can't withdraw his own hard-earned money. I heard it all from Jada. You can't keep hiding that forever. My son is not your ATM. Yes, that's right. And he's not your ATM either. That's why I'm protecting him. Now you're never going to be able to get his money ever again. As a mother, aren't you ashamed of what you've been doing? Huh? After the accident while he was still in the hospital, I checked his phone and oh boy, I was shocked at what I saw. It seemed he was trying to hide it from me this whole time. But Miss Barbara, you were siphoning money from his bank account. Immediately after the incident, you were still sending him messages demanding money over WhatsApp. What do you have to say for yourself? No way. You saw those? Yep. As a good son, he was letting you have $1,000 a month. At one point, he was even giving you $2,000. He denied you sometimes, going, I can't do this anymore. But you'd always blow up at him, and he'd let you have the money anyway. I said it before, but I'll say it again. My husband is not your ATM. Well, I know, but... And then his company was absolutely horrible to him. He was still undergoing medical treatment in the hospital, but they didn't care. They were all, hurry up and work already. If you don't, we're going under. We don't have enough people on board. If that happens, are you going to take responsibility? They bombarded him with messages like that when he was supposed to be resting. I also heard they'd make him cover other people's quotas when they missed them. Don't you think it's only natural that a company like that should keel over? A business who can't hire enough employees and pay them well shouldn't exist at all. But we're in a recession right now. Cut them some slack. Oh, right. Sorry. You can't say anything bad about that company, can you? Since it's thanks to you that he was working there in the first place. You introduced him. Your relatives are all involved with managing the company. No, that's not it. It seems that Sean didn't want me to worry about him. That's why he was hiding the fact that he was giving you his money, as well as the situation with his company. I wouldn't have found out without that traffic accident. I suppose that's one good thing to come out of that. Imagine how much longer this would have gone on for. As his wife, I decided I'd take matters into my own hands. I made it so you'd never be able to contact him again. His phone breaking in the accident was a lie, by the way. And even if you did find a way to contact him, I've made it so you can't get money out of him. No way! Man, just as I thought, I finally got him out of your claws, too. You just had to send some weirdo to try and marry him. I'm at my limit with this nonsense, so I'll be making it so you won't be able to contact me next. I'm changing all my contact information. My husband and I won't ever see you again. You're going to do what? Don't worry, I'm not deciding anything for him. He's also been wanting this for a long time, so he's totally on board with the idea. Huh? Now then, goodbye. Don't come anywhere near my husband nor me ever again.
I can't believe this. I thought we were getting along so well together chatting on WhatsApp every day. I thought I had him. Finding out it was some old hag instead is the worst. Gag!
I mean, from my point of view, I think it's hilarious.
I don't. None of it's funny at all. And on top of that, my heart has been deeply wounded. And you're responsible for all of it. You better pay me reparations for the emotional damages you caused.
Excuse me?
I'm the one who got mixed up in your in-law quarreling, right? In other words, I'm the victim here. Take responsibility and pay me.
The one who dragged you into this mess was Miss Barbara. Why don't you get her to pay? I'm also a victim here. Why is a victim demanding compensation from another victim?
Of course, I tried doing that. But she claimed she couldn't since she's living on a pension and ran away. So you better pay me instead. If you won't, then hand Sean over. I'm going to become the high-class, elite housewife who lives overseas. I'll make everyone green with envy.
What? You still haven't given up on Sean?
Isn't it obvious? He's working overseas. That's a fact. As his former girlfriend, there's no way I can miss out on a catch like that. I'm sure he wants to get back together with me too. Ask him yourself. I bet he still has feelings for me. His former girlfriend.
Who are you again?
Huh?
That's what my husband has to say about you. He says he didn't have a girlfriend in high school.
Say what? No way.
What are you talking about?
We were dating.
I mean, I guess we were only dating for like a week.
But that doesn't matter. We were each other's firsts. That 1 week was a week to remember forever.
Oh, are you the one girl who he dated for a week who more or less traumatized him?
What?
I heard it from him. A girl he liked confessed to him, and they started dating right after. But she told him, this was just the trial run for me. I wanted to see how it'd be like. I never cared about you. I have someone else I wanted to confess to for real, actually. So we're breaking up. He was thrown out like trash after 1 week by his first love. It seems to have affected him a lot. That's why he didn't date anyone else until he met me.
Oh.
As a result, he doesn't count that 1 week you dated. That's why he says he didn't date anyone in high school.
Wait, he's pretending it never happened?
You did that to him, yet you have some nerve to be calling yourself his former girlfriend. After stepping on him, you heard he was working overseas and began regretting that you let him get away, didn't you? What an unpleasant person you are. You saw the money, and that's why you bothered approaching him again.
What the hell? What's so bad about that? We all have our regrets.
Oh, right, I have a message from him. I have no intention of getting a divorce. And I don't want to get involved with someone who broke my heart like that. Please don't ever contact me ever again.
So, yeah. What? No way!
And I'm going to respect his wishes. If you try and contact us again, I'll deal with you appropriately. If you understand, then stay away from us. Now then, goodbye. I blocked the two of them immediately after that. From what I heard, apparently my mother-in-law tried to appease Jada. She goes to the airport every single day, waiting for the day he comes home. But I have something to confess. He was never working overseas to begin with. His new workplace is located in the city, and he's been taking it easy while working, all while he's still in the country. And so he's currently living with me. I just told his mother whatever would get her off our backs. But it seems she took everything I said about him working overseas very seriously. So I think it's for the best that I don't correct her. And then there's Jada, who's been going to all the reunions for elementary, middle, and high school. Wow. She's scouting any of her former classmates who were hot or had good jobs. She's really shallow, huh? From what I've heard, she came off as a little too desperate. And she was banned from coming to future events. Thanks for watching until the end. If you felt everybody got their just desserts, be sure to give this video a like.